Welcome to the Hanna Show, where business, as usual, gets a swift kick in the ass. If you're tired of the same old advice and ready to disrupt the status quo, you're in the right place. I'm cutting through the noise with bold strategies, unfiltered truths, and a no-nonsense approach to entrepreneurship, video marketing, and content creation. Buckle up, because it's time to level up, stand out, and dominate your market. This isn't just another podcast, it's a wake-up call for entrepreneurs and would-be aspiring solopreneurs who are all in. Let's get started. I am not a patient person. For those who know me well. I have zero patience in a lot of ways. And for the longest time in my business, I'd get very frustrated and angry when I would do a proposal, I'd have a meeting with somebody, pitch them on my services, whatever type of service it would be at the time, and I would not hear back from them. They would ghost me. They would not reply. I got the sense that it was not a fit, and they weren't interested for whatever the reason would be. And I used to hate the aspect of where people would come to me then months later. Yes, it's great they come back to me, but I'm still frustrated because the sales cycle took so long. I'm selling a larger priced product. We're talking in the thousands of dollars versus something that someone would spend tens or $100,000 doing or whatever. But I'm still frustrated because it takes a long time for people to spend money, which I think about now is completely changed. But I'd be waiting. I'd be following up. I'd have silence in between. It felt super inefficient with the long sales cycles. It felt like rejection. It felt like wasted time, wasted effort. I'm somebody who likes to move quickly. When I decide I'm going to do something, I do it. I want clear decisions, yes or no, momentum. But what I didn't realize was simple. Long sales cycles aren't the problem. My patience was. You see, early on, I thought in my business, speed felt like validation. When you're building, fast yeses feel good. They tell you, hey, you're doing something right. The offer as presented makes sense, and people want what you're selling. So when decisions take weeks or months, it messes with your confidence. I started to assume that, you know what, maybe people don't think I'm serious. Maybe they're shopping you. Maybe you're about to get ghosted. And most of the time, my assumption ended up being wrong. Serious decisions should take time for most people, especially at higher levels of investment. The thing I realized was this, is that the more thoughtful the client, the slower the decision. People who have budgets and teams and reputations and real consequences, they don't impulse buy. What I offered with my video services isn't an impulse buy. It's thousands of dollars it's going to cost someone to invest in working with me to help them amplify their visibility. So they're going to evaluate. They're going to wait. They're going to test alignment. And that's not disrespect. That's actually being a mature and responsible business owner. But I, early on, tried to speed the process up. And of course, what did it do? It backfired. I tried everything. Extra follow-up, circling back messages, more explanation, more urgency, putting time crunches, I guess we'll call it, on offers, even though it was the same offer regardless. And all it did was make me look insecure. Pressure doesn't shorten long sales cycles. I think it more often not, in my case, exposes desperation. Once I stopped trying to control the timing, conversations, they seem to have got clearer. And then I learned that ghosting isn't always ghosting. And it took me a while to realize this. Silence always doesn't mean no. Usually means priorities have shifted, internal conversations might be happening, timing isn't right yet. Here's the thing, people don't owe you updates every step of the way. They're running a business too. When I accepted that, the resentment disappeared. I look at where I am right now. In the last month, I have probably put together, let's call it 8 to 10 different proposals. And I would say 70% of them, so let's call it 7 out of 10, I have no idea where things stand right now. I would presume that they're having conversations. There's some strategic decisions that need to be made. I know for some of them, the timing is going to be a little longer to make a call. And so the old Chris would be constantly hounding them every week, following up, chasing. Now, the new Chris doesn't do that. I will let it go weeks or even a month or more before deciding to follow up. And I'm finding that's been more successful than going and chasing. I've had people come back to me a year and a half after a proposal, months after proposals, because they're ready. And the reason they said that they came to me is that I didn't chase. They needed to do it on their terms. And so, yes, that's the opposite of what every sales guru is going to tell you, that you need to follow up. And I agree with following up, but you got to do it in a way that's not going to come across as desperate. I have a list in front of me of all of those people that I need to connect with, but I will have strategically do it in a way that doesn't put me in a spot where I look like I'm desperate for the business. Could I use the business? Absolutely. Who couldn't, right? I love money. Money helps pay for things in life and experiences, but it's not worth harassing people to make it a reality. Now, some people disappear, and as I said, and sometimes they come back months or even years later. And it confused the hell out of me initially, right? Because I would assume a deal is dead. And then months later, people would ask, hey, are you still offering that service? In this case, it was all around batch creating content. And what I found out of why some people left is that they tried going cheaper. You can go work with cheaper people than me. You can also work with a hell of a lot more people who are more expensive. So I'm middle of the road. So some people will try working with someone cheaper. Some people will try DIY, right? Doing it themselves. Some people will try other options. But a lot of people started to come back after they connected with somebody else. And I was like, it's interesting. I wonder why that is the case. It's because they understood the value of what I was offering. Because when I explained it initially, it wasn't explained well. I've now refined it, and so it's much better and easier. But I think that shows that the process had to change. The other thing with long sales cycles is as they used to really just bother me a lot. It also filters out bad fits automatically. Because I think long sales cycles, they weed out the impulsive buyers, the misaligned expectations, and people looking for quick fixes. I can think on a couple of occasions, actually 2 projects that were back to back for me that I probably in my gut felt were wrong, that I took on. If they would have taken more time to make the decision, it would have probably been better for them and definitely for me. You know, I worked with 2 impulsive buyers who on the call within the first 10 minutes of talking with me signed up saying, yep, they're ready to go. They want to do video batch sessions with me. And I thought, wow, these are back-to-back days, which is crazy. They both said yes, they wanted to move forward. I booked them. I felt not aligned fully with their messaging, with the strategy, and what the approach was going to be. But I said, yeah, let's move forward. They're so excited. You know, I'll get excited. And normally I'm excited to work with a lot of new people. For whatever reason, I just was not excited with both of these people who said yes so fast. And I will say, without giving away any information, I think these were probably 2 of the most challenging video batch sessions I've done in terms of just the pace, the feel, the expectations, and even the disappointment that they had on their side, where they didn't feel like the quality was where it needed to be. And I'm like, I think it's because we went too fast. So when you have the long sales cycles, if you make a better decision, is what I'm ultimately saying. Because then clients who do take longer to make a decision, they maybe understand the commitment of what's required of not only them, but myself. They respect the process. The two people that I worked with here that I really did not enjoy working with did not respect the process, did not understand the process, and kind of complained throughout the entire journey. And I think that's why we have such misaligned, I guess to say deliverables, we'll call it. And I think the other thing, people who take longer to make a decision, maybe value the expertise a bit more. These two people completely discounted what I was bringing to the table, treated me as just a person who hits record, not for the other intangibles that I bring to the production. So I think the trade-off of longer sales cycles, in this case, was definitely worth it. So what I started doing, or more so I should say I stopped doing, I stopped selling, and I started letting people decide. And I know that sounds wrong. You're supposed to sell. You're supposed to convince people. That's not my style. I realize that's not what I want to do. And it changed everything. I stopped trying to convince people. I stopped chasing them. I stopped managing people's timelines. I presented clearly. I answered honestly. And I stepped back. The right people moved forward. And those who didn't. And I was fine either way. See, that was the new cycle that had been created. And I respected it. Because it reduced the emotional whiplash that I felt like I was feeling. So once I accepted long sales cycles as normal sales cycles, I think my confidence stabilized. Follow-ups felt more natural. Outcomes mattered less emotionally. And that calm made me better in conversations with people who were prospective people with my services. Ironically, it made some deals that were right close in a perceived faster way. The thing I've come to realize, though, is that timing matters way more than persuasion. Most deals aren't lost on value. They're delayed on timing. So when timing aligns, decisions feel obvious. Until then, pressure creates friction. And your job isn't to force people to be ready. It's to be clear and ready for them when they show up. So I think for our business owners who are listening to this, people who want to win long term, don't rush. Trust in your positioning. Respect the buyer's process. And don't attach ego to outcomes. Confidence will show, of course, as a result of you mastering this, and people will respond to it. Like I said at the beginning, long sales cycles, they used to frustrate the hell out of me. Now I see them for what they are. It's a filter. It's a qualifier. It's a sign that the decision actually matters. Fast yeses, yeah, sure, they felt good. Thoughtful yeses, they build better businesses. Once I learned to respect the cycle, sales stopped feeling personal. They started feeling professional.
All right, that's a wrap for today's Dose of Reality on the Chris Hanna Show. If you're fired up and ready to kick some serious ass, then I've done my job. But remember, knowledge without action is just wasted breath. So what are you going to do? Sit around and let opportunities pass you by? Or are you going to step up and take what's yours? The choice is yours, but don't expect sympathy if you choose the easy road. If you've got value from today's episode, smash that subscribe button, leave a review, or share it with somebody who needs a wake-up call. Don't keep this gold to yourself unless you're afraid of a little competition. Stay bold, stay hungry, and remember, always go all in. Until next time, this is Chris Hanna signing off. Now go out there and take what's yours